Section clean towel dried hair, rub oil into palms, blow dry or air dry as usual. Towel dry hair means your hair is probably still either wet or damp. And oil on damp hair? We need to look into this. Welcome back to my channel. I'm Barbie Dell, and maybe you just got a hair oil, or you were told as a curly, wavy, or coily haired person to put a hair oil on your hair, and maybe you're just confused about how to use it, or why to use it, or when to use it. Maybe you've read instructions like I've just read where it instructs you to put the oil on wet hair, and you're like, but everyone online was putting it on dry hair. What am I supposed to be doing? We're gonna break it all down in this video, so let's get going. I've helped over 20,000 people find their perfect curl products through these videos, Curls Monthly when I was doing curl coaching, and oils definitely seem to be the one type of product that is not really talked about that much. I think it's the least talked about, and if not the least talked about, at least the least understood, that is for sure. Or the most incorrectly used. Well, by the end of this video, I'm promising that you're going to know exactly how to use oils, how to not use oils, and when to not use them. Because we are actually going to do an experiment together. In this video, we're gonna, number one, break down why people say to put oils on wet hair and why other people say to put oils on dry hair. We're also going to test putting one of my favorite hair oils on hair that's wet and on hair that's dry. Then we're gonna chat about my favorite hair oils so you know which oils to use. This one is the Fable and Mane MahaMane Smooth and Shine Hair Oil. It's all over the shelves at Sephora, so if you've been looking and eyeing this product, we're also going to cover and review that in this video. And yes, you are going to watch this video if you want better curls, because as a curl coach, I am going to coach you on how to get better curls by using oils correctly once and for all. So let's get started. Yes, I know my hair doesn't look that great. I'm about to wash my hair. We're about to put oils on my hair and not on my hair, so just bear with my hair looking like this right now, please. So as promised, the first thing I want to do is talk about and break down why some people or some brands say to put it on wet hair and why some people or some brands say to put it on dry hair. So first, why do people swear to put it on wet hair? What are the benefits of putting an oil on wet hair? Number one, it can actually help seal in moisture after moisture is applied to your hair. So specifically like a water-based leave-in conditioner or curl cream. There's a very famous method called the LOC method, L-O-C. My method that I always talk about is the CGO method, which is creams, then gels, then oils on dry hair. But LOC is the LOC method, and that means leave-ins, oils, and then creams. And that's because you do it after the leave-in to lock in that leave-in moisture. So that's when maybe doing it on wet hair would be more beneficial. Also, putting it on wet hair can also just boost the slip of your hair, which helps with detangling. When your hair is nice and soft, it's sort of that nice, soft, smooth down conditioned feeling. Oils, of course, can do that to your wet hair. It also adds more shine to put an oil on wet hair than dry hair, and it also reduces frizz. And some oils can penetrate your wet hair. Things like coconut oil, baba soup, and olive oil, all of those things can actually penetrate your hair while it's wet. And last but not least, some oils, specifically this oil, has properties in it that actually protects your hair up to 450 degrees of heat. So you're probably gonna want to put that on wet hair because you're gonna use a blow dryer to then blow dry your hair. So would have to go on wet hair in that case, which means it would protect against the heat. So yeah, I mean, there's some reasons to use it on wet hair, but I've never used an oil on wet hair in my entire life. And that is for good reasons. I always recommend to put oil on dry hair, mainly because oil and water don't mix. Basically, when your hair is wet, oil can just sort of sit on top of your hair instead of sinking into it, because most oils will not penetrate your hair shaft, they'll just sit on top. So because they're sitting on top, these oils can block moisture absorption. It can create almost a barrier that prevents water-based products from being able to moisturize and hydrate and penetrate your hair. So if you're doing an oil and then following up with your creams and gels and things like that, it will interrupt that from working properly. Number three, oils don't hydrate. They seal. Most curlies, myself included, tend to use oils as the last step in your routine on dry hair to help seal the moisture in your hair. It will also help seal in your styling products to have like your gels and mousses hold your hair longer, and will also help add extra shine and reduce frizz. And the fourth reason I always recommend using oils on dry hair is to avoid weigh down. I've always seen on other people that when people put oils on wet hair versus dry hair, the wet hair that they put the oil on while it was wet tends to be more weighed down once it dries, and I don't really know many curlies who want weigh down, so that's also probably why I wouldn't recommend doing that. But I don't know, I've actually never tried to put an oil on wet hair because I've always just, on paper, thought it was a bad idea. But We're here today to truly see. I'm truly gonna do it side by side. I don't know what it's going to look like, and we're gonna find out together. So I'm gonna go wash my hair with other Fable and Mane products. I'm gonna come back and we're gonna put this to the test. My hair is completely washed, detangled, and conditioned, and it's ready to be styled. I'm gonna part my hair right down the middle so we can really see like a good contrast side by side on what this is gonna look like. Okay, so I'm gonna put the wet hair side on the left side of my hair. So I need to remember, wet hair, left hair. This stuff smells so good. I'm just gonna put like a dropper on my hands. That was probably a half dropper, but I don't think I need much more than that. And then I'll focus that in on my mids and ends. Just raking that through. I also have ends at the top because I have bangs. Just making sure I get that oil everywhere. It smells so good. That is one thing I have to say about this product line. The smells are smelling in the best way. Okay, so I won't do that to this side. Instead, I'm just gonna go in right with the next step. So far with brush styling, I don't really feel a difference between both sides. They both feel like basically equally as moisturized, but I have a feeling they're going to dry very differently. All right, I'm gonna dry and we'll see how it turns out. So this is dry. I have the oil on this side that I put on wet hair. So I put the oil on the left side, and this side currently has no oil on it. I can definitely see a very big difference side by side. There's not really a right or wrong here, but this side clearly has more weight to it. This side clearly has less weight to it. I'll also show a little insert shot right now of sort of what my hair looks like up close, because this side definitely has a lot more shine than this side, but that's to be expected. I did not put an oil yet on this side. Now, what I also noticed on this side is that these hairs that tend to fall flat on day 2 or 3 are falling flat now, probably because they're just a little heavier, which is to be expected, and that's why for some people we say not to put the oil on wet hair. Now I'm gonna go ahead and then put the Soothe and Shine hair oil on the other side of my hair on dry hair. I'm just gonna glide that over top. And then I'll also use it to break up any of like the large clumps I want broken up. And then again, just kind of make sure I get it on my ends real nice. It's really crazy, honestly, the difference. I was expecting to see a difference, but I didn't know it was gonna be this different. This side is definitely a lot more voluminous, obviously, than the other side, but I do like both. I think like I just don't like the look of kind of overly shiny hair, so I would probably go for this side. But this side really is not bad. Like this side actually feels better. Like it feels softer and smoother. This side feels, I guess, a little drier, not like dry, but a little drier comparatively. So it's really interesting. I think my consensus in the end is that there's not a right or wrong way. I think my consensus in the end is that if you have drier hair, try putting it on wet hair. If you have hair that does not get weighed down, you can try the wet hair thing. But for everyone else, I would say to probably put it on dry hair at the end of your routine, like I did. And I still got some nice shine in there, and it still smells so good. So yeah, I think that was a really great test, and I'm really happy I did it because I always kind of wondered. That is on the Fable and Mane MahaMane Smooth and Shine Oil. I'm so grateful that you watched this video. Thank you so much for being here. Leave a comment below on another product you would like me to try out side by side. Thanks for watching.